you got to scare everybody that if you even say anything in support of PFI, you'll be arrested. Of course, whenever Arnab is told something, I guess, he takes it to the extreme.
Everything that is in the accusations is in media domain. I don't agree with.
So what this is basically the criminalization of not just Muslim identity, but Muslimness.
I think it's good to be slightly suspicious only because in India we have a horrible history of detaining people based on literature that is deemed questionable.
No, if I am charged with terror, I think I should be told specifically that what acts I did.
When they're watching this, they must be like, what is happening? What is this? Because exactly you can't understand what the case is. It's just, one channel throwing barbs. I wonder what regular people feel about watching this.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. वेलकम टू द 400th episode of हफ्ता. 400 haftas old. So congratulations to us all. And in celebration of 400, we have a full house of the in-house panel. We have no outside guests today. So first, let me introduce the panel before we start on the hafta. We have joining us from their respective cities, Jayashree from Chennai. Hi, Jayashree.
Hi, hello.
And Anand from Patna.
Yes.
Joining us in the studio is Mehraj.
Hello.
Manisha.
Hello.
Raman.
Hi.
And I'm Abhinandan Sekhri. It is 11:10 a.m. on the 30th of September, a Friday, when we're recording this hafta. We usually record on Thursday. But today we delayed it by one day so that we could all be here and record in the studio. Before we get to the headlines, next weekend, next to next weekend, which is the 14th and 15th, which is Friday and Saturday of October, the Media Rumble is back. Those of you who have attended the Media Rumble before know what it is. Those who don't, this is what it is. So we have, I think about this time, about 60 speakers, if I'm not wrong, maybe 70. We have a film screening of a film that you will not get to see anywhere in the country. We have lots of panels and discussions about media. So do come. If you're a Newslaundry subscriber, you can just give your subscription and you can come in. But do register. If you're not a subscriber, we've kept the registration rates very low this time because we've come physical after 2 years. The last 2 years, the Media Rumble was online only. This time it's hybrid. So because for 2 years, we haven't had an event of this scale, we have kept the registration very low this time. But for Newslaundry subscribers, like always, it is going to be free. So do come say hi. We will all be there, as will journalists from around the country and indeed some from overseas as well. So see you then. That's my special announcement. Now we can go to the headlines, which I believe Jayashree is giving us.
Yeah, here are the headlines for the week. The central government on Wednesday banned the Popular Front of India and its associates for 5 years under the UAPA over alleged terror activities. Accordingly, the Twitter handle has also been withheld in India. Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has taken moral responsibility for the political crisis in his state. He said he now won't contest the Congress's presidential polls. So Digvijay Singh and Shashi Tharoor are scheduled to file their nominations today, while the official choice of the Gandhis is Mallikarjun Kharge.
And why do we know that? Anyway, we'll figure this out when we discuss this in detail. But regarding PFI, you were saying something, Manisha?
They have some 1,300 criminal cases filed against them across the country.
In 3 days?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
And
also
the political arm, though, SDPI has not been banned and they have distanced themselves also from PFI.
But because I think what the reasoning for that by the authorities is that is the Election Commission's call.
Yeah.
Whether they want to,
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but that's also because it sets a precedent. You can't just randomly ban SDPI because then you will have to, because they have contested elections, right?
Then you can do that to any political party.
It's a poisonous tree.
But I did see many journalists, not journalists, the reality show anchors on prime time. I mean, it's almost as if they've been given a directive that you got to scare everybody that if you even say anything in support of PFI, you'll be arrested. Of course, whenever Arnab is told something, I guess, he takes it to the extreme. His panelists, who of course he wants a circus. So someone has to shout pro PFI, someone has to shout. So the moment he asks a question, but before that guy can even start answering, of course, they're one of those TV mullahs, which we've done an article on that, who they put strategically to shout. He just starts, before you say anything, if you say anything pro PFI, you should be arrested. I'm just telling you right now.
He said also supporters and ex-supporters should be biometrically tracked. Ex-supporters also.
Pagal ho gaya.
But on PFI also, this comes after really like at least 2 years of sustained campaign anyway in the TV news space to ban them. Anything inconvenient like Shaheen Bagh was linked to PFI. Farmers' protests also randomly they'll say some this PFI link. So they have come under
In fact,
a lot of...
And RSS was running this campaign to ban PFI.
But the headlines...
Some state governments are also kind of...
The tickers were saying the hammer finally falls after dithering UP, dithering Evo. But see, I don't know enough about PFI to say whether it should or should not be banned, whether they're involved terror. But if the allegation is supporting protests, I mean, either the anchors and journalists should say this is the allegation of terrorist activities, but in the absence of that, you said they supported hijab protests. So providing logistical, support to a protest, if that is grounds for ban, Shri Ravi Shankar's outfit should be banned because they were providing all the tambus and bambus for our Jan Lokpal movement. Because none of us had the budget for tambus and bambus for Anna's, entourage that used to come. These guys are distributing water, Ramdev's fellows, for all the protests. They used to come with
MHA...
So if just providing logistical support to a protest is ground for banning, then...
That's the news anchors. So MHA has clearly said that there are links to terror organizations including ISIS and murders of 4 Hindutva activists and some 8 murders in Tamil Nadu and Kerala.
Also, I've seen...
And radicalization, and money laundering.
No, I have seen some videos... Sorry, I have seen some videos that are clearly pro-ISIS, So then put that out. Now, don't say just supporting... Because I'm not sure, but it is likely that there's enough grounds to ban them. But... through the media, the narrative is that if you protest, be careful, you'll be arrested. Put this out then, na. Don't say protesting is a ground. If I want to protest for hijab, you may agree or disagree with me, but you cannot say if you do that, it is grounds for banning or arrest. Sorry, you were saying, Jayashree?
No, I was going to say pretty much what you're saying, which is that even if you concede that this is what critics would describe as fundamentalist, extremist, there is no, what is the threshold of reasonable proof? They're not offering us the evidence. We're just debating on the fact that they are supporting X movement, they have provided support to A movement, and that is not a grounds of an arrest. So,
but the main allegation is their tacit support to ISIS and money laundering.
The Bangladesh group. What is the name of
Bangladesh group.
But nobody in this country has been banned for money laundering, for example, ever. And what do you mean? Like you are pro-ISIS, you're providing support to ISIS. What's the evidence? I'm sure maybe there are people who have been linked to PFI who went and joined ISI. Maybe.
ISIS.
But how ISIS? Sorry.
But that also,
But how do you? What is
it has to be evidence based.
So this whole point about protests and this thing, it should be seen in that context. So what this is basically the criminalization of not just Muslim identity, but Muslimness. You can't pray in public, we'll arrest you. You can't wear a hijab, we have a problem with that. You can't have this kind of food, this livelihood, we have a problem with that. And you definitely can't organize politically.
Yeah,
but that's a strict
the main
no-no.
thing.
Yeah, and if you do it on our terms. But because we have the power, we decide the terms. We can have the RSS, we can have Bajrang Dal, we can have a militia on every corner, on every street. But that's our prerogative. So this is basically that.
I think it's good to be slightly suspicious only because in India we have a horrible history of detaining people based on literature that is deemed questionable. These are very vague terms also on the grounds of which people are taken in. So
people have been arrested for having books like Who Killed Karkare? Somebody had a book in Urdu.
Allegations have been made in general. I mean, there are no specific allegations.
Except for the murders of the 4 Hindutva
Those were
activists.
very individual cases. I mean, those murders.
And maybe there is enough grounds. All I'm saying is the media narrative has clearly a different purpose. The purpose of the media narrative has got nothing to do with law and order. Anyone else wants to add to this before we move on to the rest of the headlines?
The specific inputs of the security agencies or the Ministry of Home Affairs would not be shared for very different regions. all of it would not be in public domain or shared for media consumption. But if you go back 20 years back, like the discourse that emanated from the ban on simi, and if you go to newspaper editorials and commented there, the similar lines were taken. But the momentum that was gathered then was a lot of links of bomb blasts, which were attributed to cross-border terrorism. Like there was in Bihar, North Bihar then, before the division of the state, the Madhubani module, the Darbhanga module, and semi connections were established. And in 2006, when PFI was established, there is also this intelligence narrative that it has been generally the rehabilitation of simi. A large chunk of it is basically that. And the terror links and the recruitment drive for the terror outfits like Al-Qaeda, these are broad accusations, but also the nature of protests. I mean, it is one thing to protest, but you have to be very tone deaf in the security environment of India to have a pro-Pakistan slogan in it. So,
where was the pro-Pakistan slogan?
Yes, there were accusations.
That's the perception being created.
No, and then if there was, for example, where was the pro-Pakistan slogan? Because we've actually done the fact check on that, which Z and all ran. There was no pro-Pakistan slogan.
No, I am saying there was accusation, and in fact,
no, that's what I'm saying. That the accusation is media made. What I'm saying is, if there's an accusation is not also ground for banning. Now, like for example, like there is direct evidence of the RSS, mother book endorsing Nazism or Hitler. Now, is that ground to ban RSS? That is not even speculation. That's not even misinformation. Why is first of all, there is no evidence of the pro-Pakistan slogan. It doesn't exist. It has been debunked. It has actually been debunked.
In Pune, I guess. I don't know if
I think I said that in the beginning, if you listen, I said accusations. So accusations may not be fact. In fact, the accusation gathered so much momentum that the RJD spokesperson Shivanand Tiwari said that even pro-Pakistan slogan is a form of protest. So even the opposition was buying into that narrative. He even defended that. So these all things count, and also the media narrative would be very different from what the specific intelligence inputs are. And part of it would be swayed by the political establishment, the party in power. Of course, that is a valid point. But to say that everything that is in the accusations is in media domain, I don't agree with that.
No. If I am charged with terror, I think I should be told specifically that what acts I did which caused terror. Okay, so it's or if the police do not tell this, then this is an infringement on my freedom.
Yeah, but of course that is, and also regarding the simi ban, we can get into the details of when it was banned, how. But Josie Joseph's book, The Silent Coup, he's one of the finest journalists in the country, and if any new security agency has the balls, let them take him to court if they can prove him wrong. He has laid bare the facts of the kind of arrests made, the kind of organizations they targeted during simi, which has all come to naught after people spending over a decade in prison, ruining lives. So, like in a country like India, I would definitely err on the side of civil liberties than take the police or security agency's word. I mean, there's a context, to everything. So, like there is accusation against NewsLaundry for that we've gone to court on that we've done some IT ghapla. So all of you have been paid by some evaded money. So I mean, just FYI, that's an accusation.
Yeah.
Did you want to take it and start refusing salaries? No, that's dirty money. We shall not take it.
I think what Owaisi also pointed out was important, and though he did say that he doesn't support PFI, is always against the radical approach, the individual acts of crime after the raids you have to prove that these are backed and facilitated by the organization. So the murder cases, the instances of joining
Bapu's
terror.
assassination.
No. For example, what happened in Uttarakhand, this Ankit murder. So the BJP, the boy had BJP's, his father was BJP minister. So should we say that the BJP had backed it? No,
But
it was an individual.
We'll have to also see what proof they give. So what has happened has been raids
Also,
and then very quick banning. So you have to see what they tell us.
The Simi was banned by the NDA government in 2001 under Mr. Vajpayee. And after that, this just a pointer to the continuity in the security thinking, the internal security thinking. After that, you had 10 years of UPA rule, and you could withdraw that ban. But it was not, because the security establishment is entrenched. The internal security thinking has a certain degree of continuity to it. And also, like the train blasts in Mumbai and various other blasts, the terror blasts that happened during those 10-year rules of the UPA. A lot of that had Simi link. Now, if whether all of it is in public domain, I don't think so. That intelligence agencies, even under UPA rules, heard everything.
Right. So what
But that's how it works, right? So when Simi was banned, it became this bogeyman. So every Muslim who was arrested anywhere had Simi links. That was the next day's headline.
Right.
But if you just Google Simi, you will have pages and pages of people who have been acquitted since then. They have sent, like you said, 10 years, 12 years.
It's been, I mean, they picked up anybody. Matlab Simi ke naam pe, they picked up like dozens and dozens of people, families ko.
Yeah,
Agar banda nahi mila, uske bhai ko pakad liya. Wo nahi mila, uske behnoi ko pakad liya. Basically, they had to go to a basti and come back with someone. So if the guy wasn't there, they'd pick up some relative of his and get him.
Just say Simi. I mean, that word became a bogeyman. Now they can do so all these people who have been arrested, nobody even knows whether they actually were even part of PFI or not. But you can say they were part of PFI and that's it.
The fear is that.
That's a
what
fear,
he's
basically.
saying.
That's the whole idea.
So first you persecute them for 10 years. And when you start prosecuting them, they come out.
Then they come. That's what happened.
That's what is happening.
In fact, the High Court, I saw a very interesting judgment where one guy who was sentenced to death for the rape and murder of a 6-year-old girl, I think the Supreme Court just acquitted him, said there's not a shred of evidence. And had he not appealed, he would have been hanged. So anyway, the rest of the headlines.
Next headline, this is good news, where the Supreme Court said on Thursday that forceful pregnancy of a married woman can be treated as marital rape for the purpose of abortion. It also ruled that unmarried women who are pregnant from a consensual relationship are allowed to have abortions up to 24 weeks.
But I think this clarification was made in one of the news, I think in the Express, that this does not settle the debate on marital rape. It is only the context of abortions.
Yeah, so the court specifically said that so marital rape is not recognized as an offense under the penal code. The court said that this is a legal fiction, this exemption, but it also said that the question of whether marital rape should be criminalized will be heard by.
Yeah, so I guess
there should be a debate on that.
I think this can open that kind of that possibility, right?
The door. But I also thought the Supreme Court said one very interesting thing in its judgment on abortion, where it said that it must be mentioned that when we use the term woman, it includes persons other than cisgender women who may require access to safe medical termination of their pregnancies. And this is pretty significant for a Supreme Court judgment to expand the definition of women to include all women, not just cisgender women. So, a day after influential AAP functionary Vijay Nair was arrested by the CBI in connection with the Delhi's liquor policy, Party Chief Arvind Kejriwal said that Nair was just a worker. Meanwhile, the managing director of a Delhi liquor company, Sameer Mahendru, was also held by the CBI. I think they were all named as being part of the scam.
Yeah, there were 13 people have been named in the FIR for the liquor policy manipulation as they describe it. So this Sameer Nair headed their Vijay Nair headed their media and strategy. Actually, he is credited with the Delhi victory and the Punjab victory. The entire media strategy, everything was done by him. So now with Gujarat around the corner, it's just come to a standstill, like grinding halt.
He must have been pretty central to planning Gujarat also.
Yeah, he was central to planning Gujarat. So, I mean,
I think accused number 1 is Sisodia.
Right.
And he hasn't been arrested.
He hasn't been arrested. Also, Amanatullah Khan was given bail, right? After spending, I think, 14 days in jail.
Not just the jail. I mean, if you just see the observations made by the court, they very specifically said, I mean, what kind of investigation you have done? What properties? The police did not even have the names of the property. They said that he is making some money out of some properties.
Which property they didn't know. Also, in the Satyendra Jain's case, because the previous judge was coming down hard on the ED, they've asked for a change of judge. So, yeah.
So Anand can maybe tell us a little more about the next headline, which is a handful of opposition parties attended a rally in Fatehabad, where among discussions, it was the strategy to defeat the BJP in 2024. It was organized by the NLD, and it was also attended by parties like the JDU, the CPIM, and RJD.
So, how significant is this, Anand?
It is not significant. I spent 2-3 hours and some 1,000 words to just say that it is not significant. So I think.
What was the rally? It was these parties are coming together to say what? Like in the general election, or are they talking about the next Bihar state election?
General election.
Achha, okay.
Rally was in Haryana.
Sorry?
Rally was in Haryana.
Okay, and it was only for Bihar.
No.
Two main Bihar leaders were there.
So basically, I think I'll let Anand.
No, what are they saying? What are they coming together for?
They are coming together for an imagined third front, which they somehow want to convert into the main front. So
this is without Mamta and Stalin.
That was some Nitish's phrase that the significance is that Nitish is angling for the Congress to be a part of the front, and this may have certain misgivings in future alliance, because if you bat very, very forcefully for inclusion of Congress in a front, that means, and given Congress's dubious history in alliance making, is that you put yourself in a position where your allies would be suspect of the kind of deal making you have gone into. Because basically, what is the fight? The fight is that even Congress is now one of the players for the occupancy of the national challenge. Default occupant of the national space of opposition, like the challenges to the hegemonic rise of BJP. Now, Congress is the renewed assertion that we have to somehow not let that slip. And the regional forces are now seeing themselves as one of the players to occupy that, say an ascendant Arvind Kejriwal or even Mamta Banerjee, don't see themselves far behind the Congress challenge. So all of them are players. And if they give primacy to Congress in a future alliance, that means that their elbow room would be reduced, and they want to preempt that space, maybe for the long term, maybe just to be the prime challenger now, maybe play the longer game of 10 years, 15 years. Now, for parties and leaders who are in the last leg of their ambition, like Mr. Nitish Kumar, this is a desperate move of making a deal with the Congress taking Congress together and get a good bargain for themselves. So, because they are at the fag end of their political career.
I mean, of course,
this is their last chance of the prime ministerial ambitions they nursed when they were young.
But also the Congress's, this Padayatra they're doing. I mean, I'm not going to commit whether it will be successful or not.
They're still in Kerala.
Yeah, I know, but in all fairness, after all the fun we made of it, it is gathering some momentum, it seems, from at least people I'm speaking to. So, but no, as it moves upward, we don't know which way it's going to go. I mean, let's be clear. But I think because the election is so far away, so much can change. But one thing I'm a little surprised is that all these parties that got together, Mamta and Stalin just by themselves have more seats in the Lok Sabha than all these guys put together, isn't it not?
Yeah.
So without them, what front is even possible?
I think they invited them though. Oh, but they couldn't come, right?
Bihar and UP would be quite.
Yeah, but
they didn't invite Congress, and except that they invited all major regional parties.
Right.
I'm not sure whether they invited Jagan's party, but rest of the parties were invited.
Right. What are the other headlines?
Right, now we move on to some media headlines, which is one, the Zee Media Corporation has moved the Delhi High Court, challenging an order that effectively bars it from broadcasting 10 of its channels.
Yeah, for free.
Broadcasting them on free to air.
Yeah, free to air. So they don't want it free to air. So yeah, even Zee's not liking the policy of the INB ministry.
No. If you see the real history, they were allowed earlier, and we did a story way back in 2020 at how the complaints have come in that they have been allowed and they are illegally taking it. They are basically stealing.
Basically, that band which it has to be auctioned, they didn't get it through an auction.
Yes, they were stealing it, and the government, he was favoring this fellow at that time. He was the MP.
Now he's out of favor.
Now he's out of favor. So now, for some reasons, he is completely out of favor. Now he's fighting with the government.
Now they have pulled the plug, literally.
They have literally pulled the plug.
Next, and if you have missed this news, that means you don't watch primetime. It is the ED has filed its charge sheet in the TRP scam. It's basically given a clean chit to Republic, which is the opposite of what the Mumbai police had done. The ED, I think, has also said it will continue investigating India Today, News Nation, and Times Now.
They haven't said investigating Times Now. Have they said they will investigate Times Now? It says require. It's vaguely worded.
It said irregularities vis-a-vis Times Now. That's the quote. Will need to be investigated.
Oh, they have. Okay.
But it wasn't
needs to be investigated.
Yeah.
But India Today and News Nation, they have categorically said that they will investigate.
Pretty much, like as much as you can sparse their language.
So now this led to a shitstorm last night, which was very enjoyable. I watched Primetime after a long time with, panelists of Arnab, first of all, telling him how wonderful he is. By the way, night before last, Arnab also said on this show that what is all this, the movement against corruption was led by me. I started it. All this India against corruption and Arvind Kejriwal and all, they were just the marketing gimmicks. I was the one who started the movement. I did it.
Lovely.
So I was like, okay. Then last night, Rahul Shiv Shankar sat with Nikunj Garg, I think is the guy who covers ED for them. And Navika.
No, he's their managing editor looking at Mirror Now and Times Now.
But he used to cover ED because he was saying he's covered ED for a long time. And they were talking about how the ED has buried this clean shit that they have also apparently got. And Rahul waved a chit which seemed quite clean to underline the fact that they got a clean chit. And suddenly they were wondering why the ED is being so unfair and mean to them. I was wondering why Navika is not getting ED's WhatsApps to tell everybody. But we will have commentary on this by Manisha next Nuisance. So, but if you haven't watched last night's, that is Thursday night's prime time on Times Now and Republic, do watch it. It is Shakespeare couldn't have written better irony.
I wonder what regular news consumers, when they're watching this, they must be like, what is happening? What is this? Because exactly you can't understand what the case is. It's just, one channel throwing barbs. I wonder what regular people feel about watching this.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, outside of media houses and channels, apart from news channels and Arnab and people like us who like watch the media, does anyone really care about the TRP scam as a viewer? As a viewer thinking like, oh my God, I've been scammed. I need to know what happened. Like, it's just, I don't know.
No, and I think
For 2 years, they've been going on about it. So,
and I think they'd be so confused because these guys, while reporting on themselves, don't even tell the viewers what the case is about. Basic W's and H.
First of all,
aren't like
you guys really have no shame and you have no respect for the Indian citizens. Because if you saw the show last night,
we're all a family.
It is not an attack on me.
It's an attack on all of us.
They are accusing you that you take bribes, that Indian viewers take bribes.
Oh.
The accusation is not on me. The accusation is on you, that you take bribes.
No, but that wasn't the tone. That is the tone for usual other days. This was like very mild.
This was tearful.
So basically, the ED or whoever, Parambir, is accusing the viewer of taking bribes. So basically, the ED and whoever is coming after the viewer, and the people standing between the viewer and the agencies are Arnab, Navika, RSS, that is Rahul Shiv Shankar, and the others. So,
but that's a great way to sell it. I mean, to make people care.
No, but then again, I think
You
it
should
gets
actually ask people.
distorted a bit because it's English, it's elite media, it's social media and all that. English news generally has very tiny viewership and readership
negligible.
in this country.
It's not even.
out of the total television watching pie, it's not even 1%.
Exactly.
And that's all as far as the video is concerned. I remind you, please subscribe, pay to keep news free. Click on the link in the show notes below. Tell your friends, relatives. Thank you for supporting us for so many weeks. It's been 400 weeks since Hafta has been coming at you or to you. The rest of the podcast is available in the audio-only format, so keep your ears keenly peeled.